How did I become a targeted individual, and what happened to me? Well, I had the misfortune of having a very bad so-called neighbour from hell who made it her life's goal, it seemed, to harass me around the clock. All the typical things that these neighbours from hell do, such as talking about you behind your back, making up stories that aren't true, rapping on walls and ceilings, shouting in the middle of the night, waking you up, accusing you of things that they're doing, just being obnoxious, really. And unfortunately, this neighbour, I reported to the appropriate authorities, as one does in these circumstances, council, police, etc. And I managed to gather a reasonable amount of evidence, but we had mediation, which obviously she didn't stick to. And on one occasion, she came round to my house and attacked me in my own home while I was on the phone. I was ringing the emergency services, so she was making a lot of noise outside my house and trying to get in. And she attacked me, and I was forced to defend myself. Of course, the story was twisted round, and her injury was, she had an injury which required stitches on her head. And I had a lot of bruising and stuff, but it didn't show up till a few days later. And it was twisted round that I attacked her and all. Anyway, it went to court. It didn't actually have a trial because I had evidence to prove that she was, in fact, the person I've said she was all along. You know, she gave me a lot of very, very serious death threats, etc. Anyway, there was no trial, and it was agreed that I said, well, you know, she's obviously causing me a lot of trouble and problems. And one of the things that she did, which I managed to gain evidence, was she actually, her or somebody else, came in the loft space, took the bricks down between the party wall and came in my loft and was rapping on my loft thing, you know, all to make me sound crazy. But I had an audio recording of that actually happening, and it was seamless, you know, up until the time when I phoned emergency services. And we went up there and took photographs, not the emergency services. And it was discovered that there was bricks taken down. And of course, several weeks prior to this, I did hear a lot of drilling and banging on a Sunday in the loft. She didn't own the house. The house was council property. What was they doing drilling and banging in the loft, you know? When it was not even her house. So anyway, a lot of the evidence that I had didn't, you know, it was enough not to have a trial, that she was giving me death threats, that she was intimidating me, etc., etc. And I said, will she have to move away? No. You've got no criminal record, but you'll have to move away. You'll have a restraining order. So I accepted this. I thought, okay, I'm going to move away anyway from her. I'm not going to live next door. Immediately, when my new address, which was 5 miles away, I started to suffer from harassment, vandalism, name calling, you name it. These people didn't even know me. I was very friendly and polite. My cat got murdered. It got battered to death. It cost me £400 for an autopsy to prove this. The police were not really helpful. They wouldn't come out on a lot of occasions and look at the evidence. There was quite a lot of CCTV evidence. People turning up in balaclavas, spraying my fence with acid. The neighbours talking to these people, so they obviously had something to do with it, thanking them for doing it, bobbing their heads over the fence wearing balaclavas when I'm not in, but obviously I come back and I've seen it on CCTV. The fence pieces being ripped off the fence, thrown in the garden, very regularly, little pieces, but it all added up to quite significant damage over time. Coins being thrown at the windows, name calling, rumours spread in earshot of me, and then the children were... some horrific stuff happened where I was actually in the house where the cat got next door. The cat heard it squealing and everything. Anyway, I went out. These people, I don't know if they accessed my house or whether it was what they'd done to the cat the day before, but the cat was very frightened when it came in. But it was fine. It wasn't bleeding. It wasn't limping or anything like that. It was just very frightened. It wanted to go to sleep. I thought, you know, it's obviously had a shock. I didn't let it out. I went out the day after I came home to find it dead. And what was very strange was the living room door was closed. And some things were disturbed in the living room. And I do not close the living room door when I go out, I always leave it open so the cat could roam around the house. Its tray and its dishes, its food dishes, water, etc., weren't in the living room. So I obviously used to leave the door wide open. There's no way the door can shut by accident. But it wasn't even a little bit open. I have never done that. So somebody had been in the house. There was also a previous incident when I was in bed and I heard rustling bags downstairs. And somebody had been in the house on that occasion. You see, so these things were orchestrated and the police weren't very helpful at all, which makes me think, was there some involvement with the police from a previous crime, community flagging or warnings or something? And I was basically set up because when I rang my friend, I was very upset finding my cat dead and I was crying. I didn't know my phone was bugged until 2 weeks later when I heard the next door neighbour going out playing to somebody. He sold drugs, my next door neighbour. He was playing a recording of me crying on my phone to my friend. He was playing that to this person that asked for 3 grams off him. And I was just shocked to hear it. And then what happened a couple of weeks after that is I started to hear this song, and the lyrics were very disturbing. There was my cat's name is dead. And the storyline of the song, when I heard it from a car that pulled up and dropped somebody off who got out while the song was still playing from the open window. They got out and they went into my next door neighbour's house, and I managed to have that song on the audio of the CCTV camera that I had. And it was, she comes in, opens the door at night, gets a terrible fright, oh my God, and then my cat's name is dead. And that was the chorus, my cat's name is dead. And then there was a sample of my voice going, he's dead, crying, which was taken from the audio recording that I heard him playing to the man who said, I'll have 3 grams off you. So this was extremely disturbing. The local children were taught this song, and obviously they're completely innocent. They don't know it's about me or my cat, or if they do, they don't know the gravity of it and how sick it is. They're little innocent children. And then I started to hear it all the time, and they was coming outside the house shouting my dead cat's name and stuff on the way to school. And my next door neighbour, I heard her talking to 2 people. They're saying the words to her. And her husband asked, he said, where? She goes, all around town. He goes, where? And he named the town that I was living in. She goes, yes, and she named this other town that I used to frequent, where I was originally from, 5 miles away. And then on another occasion, she had a conversation with some people, and she said, this recording's really hurt her. Obviously, I'd been to the police about this, who weren't very helpful. This recording, one officer was very, very helpful, but the rest weren't. This recording's really hurt her. And somebody went, good. Can't you get it on CD? Oh, Sol does all that. And they started talking about where I went, places I went. There couldn't have been a coincidence because these places were 5 miles away from where my house was. Oh, she goes in such and such a place a lot. Yeah. And she phones such and such a place. How do they know I phone this place a lot? Yeah, Dave Smith's got a number. Yeah. She phones such and such a place. Yeah, we'll have to check that out, yeah. I was shocked to hear all this. So obviously I told the police. I didn't know anything about targeted individuals. I didn't know about gang stalking. I didn't know this. I just thought it was these people. So that happened, and then since that date, people started to come up to me, and obviously I was followed before this. I had a studio, and where I used to sing and write music, and not a commercial one, just a small little room that I rented, and my PA and stuff in. Somebody contacted me online. They wanted to work with me, write music together. Yeah, okay. And they wanted to set up this publishing thing, and they asked for my not bank details, to form a joint bank account. I said, well, we haven't done any material yet. Let's, do that first. And this person was very intent on going to a professional studio and recording things, which I thought was odd because there was no proof that these things were going to be good, They hadn't even been done. So I just thought there was maybe a bit too enthusiastic, and put it down to that. To say that this person was like 53 years old is unlikely. to be that enthusiastic at that age and without it. So anyway, this person sent me recordings, so I started to write songs to them. There was just music. I started to write songs and stuff like that. And I was doing this for nearly a year, about 8 months, 9 months or something like that. And it wasn't until a while afterwards when my friend pointed out that they could hear something on the back ends of the tracks, and we listened to it without any writing on it or anything, and it was my dead cat's name shouted in the background, recorded on another track. Okay, that's where this bit of information will end. I will do another recording about what happened from there. Thank you. Bye.